Hello viewers, I'm SB and welcome back to Endless Space 2, where we are in maybe a little bit of danger. For the first time, we've seen a force of enemy ships that actually might be able to fight us a little bit. It's a little frustrating how, weirdly bad the AI sometimes is at this game. But every once in a while, you'll see a force like the Riftborn where they just seem to have it together, and they might pose an actual threat to us. I'm curious how this is going to work out. You know what we should check on? How do they feel about the Hisho? Okay, they are currently at war with the Hisho. So they probably... That's the reason that fleet was around Gatria. They probably will not come after us then. Because they will probably finish fighting the Hisho first. That means we can probably ignore the northern Hisho systems, just leave those to the Riftborn. We can push down here and finish these dudes off. Where else do we have problems? Of course, we're going to have to deal with the Cravers pretty soon. We need a little bit more push from Pisces to get ESO. And it looks to me like we also need a little bit more of a push from Nakalim. We're getting pressed pretty hard by Lakim's extremely large population and its fancy planet. Where is Bilgeli? Yeah, Bilgeli has 5 influence output per citizen with a fair number of citizen slots. Well, how are we going to solve both of these problems at the same time? I mean, obviously we're building influence buildings, and that will matter, but you know what? We could probably afford to move some relics off science. Relics on science are very powerful. They're doing a great job at the thing they're doing, but maybe it's a reasonable time here. Especially since we're now being able to get some science from combat. You cannot assign additional relics to this slot. Okay, so we can only put 1 relic in. But yeah, base influence production everywhere up by 15%. Seems pretty good. We could do the same to dust and food. Do we need to do it to food anymore? Are we pretty set on food? We could certainly use more bodies here. How's Aquarius doing? Aquarius is actually population capped. I think we're pretty close to our pop cap in most places. Not here in Nakalim, right? Nakalim's got a ton of space. The loss would be 50 science, right? I think we can do that. And then, yeah, I'll do this one too. And then we could, in addition to that, assign some to our heroes. I know we have a hero on Pisces. Right, if we took Moria and we threw some relics on here. What's the influence output of this system right now? 161? Now keep in mind that's not flat production. That's already got a percentage modifier attached to it. And I'm assuming that the percentage modifiers would stack additively rather than multiplicatively, which is to say that plus 10% influence here is not going to give us 16 extra influence. It's probably going to be more like 14. Yeah, because there's 20 points coming from the relics assigned to the Empire. Or maybe even less because the ecstatic modifier is also a percentage bonus. I'm not actually sure how these stack. We could probably do the math from here, but I'm not going to. We need money. We need to buy some of this stuff out. We can't wait for the system to finish building things naturally. I'm going to go ahead and throw some relics on here as well. Alright, you can click on the icon to unassign the relic if you want to assign the relic. Okay, the other stuff will also get unassigned. But that's... So, hold on a second. We assigned 2 relics to it. So I'm not clear if it gives plus 5% influence per relic assigned to this skill, or plus 5% influence per relic assigned to the hero across all skills. We could probably check that. No, I want to save the change. Okay, 173. Let's just go ahead and do a little testing. Okay, yeah, it is all relics assigned to the hero. That said, I don't think I actually want to do that. I cannot unassign from it this turn. We could do this. Another 10% industry. It's not an amazing amount of bonus, but it's not nothing. And we could certainly use some help getting stuff done here. I'm just wondering if the additional value provided by these relics is lower than the amount of value they're providing us while they are assigned to our science. But I guess let's do that. We really do need to get this stuff built. That matters a lot. Okay, we are about to fill the final population slot here. This is a temple to the lost. I guess once we get these things done, this could also become a temple. We shouldn't do it beforehand because we need the industry produced by Psychigoja, but we can just be like really pumping influence out there. We do have another option for influencing the push on ISO, and that is we could move one of our fleets over to ISO. So you can see the circle here with the little like crenellations on it, indicating that they have a fleet there in defense mode, in guard mode rather. So if we were to fly over there, we would have to fight them. But if we can get the system into blockaded status, it cuts the influence output of it pretty tremendously. Of course, if you can get a fleet around the system and just hold it there, you probably could just take the system by force instead of playing the influence game. Yeah, I wanted to see if we could grab some systems early off of other players and give them to the academy. But I have to say, it has turned out not to be totally trivial to do that, and it's so easy to take systems from people by force. Oh, and of course, I have left a hacking slot open because I always leave a hacking slot open. Let's do this thing again. It worked out pretty well last time. Man, it's a pretty long hack, though. There's not really a better way for me to get a hack onto Lakim. Yeah, I think we're still going to do it this way. And load up the accelerator. I don't know if the accelerator is necessary, given the amount of time that a traceback would take, but we have bandwidth. We may as well use it. So let's look at their ships real quick here. 10,000 health, 1450 attack, 412 defense. How does that compare to my mediums? Not all that well, honestly. Yeah, we would... One of my mediums would beat one of their mediums straight up, and pretty handily. It's just a matter of, you know, getting to the point where we have enough ships to fight them. We're not technically at war with the Cravers yet, although it's going to be soon, probably. We've already got defensive structures up on Nakalim, right? I think we do. Yeah, okay. Cravers are coming. They're on the way. Lots of births everywhere. We hit a population bonus for the Hisho. We've taken over so many Hisho worlds that we now have 10 Hisho. They are giving us additional militarist political ideology. What a surprise. 15 defense manpower. Okay, that's a pretty cool bonus. Minus 25% ship cost would be useful. Do we want to be running another law? Ship cost down. We are building some ships now, at least in one place. We could trade out some money for some science, but I think we need our money. I am inclined to say we could run this for right now. It's not too expensive. And I would love to get stuff done on Pisces a little bit faster. We're gonna need to build some more mediums. Because we are we are facing a potentially terrifying threat here. We probably should not temple this off. Uchi, not yet anyway. You guys should probably be over here. Yeah. Okay, so interplanetary transport network, not super great here. What's my ownership like? 88%. So we're getting pretty close to our actual standing value of approval. We are not going to be over the threshold for ecstatic without a supermarket or something. We need some kind of buff. All right. Yeah, we have enough siege ships. We can afford to just hang out here for a little while. Do I want to combine these fleets? Probably what I want to do is break the siege ships off into their own fleet and then put all the actual military ships back together. Okay, that's better for our attack logistics. I kind of wish we had a probe. Do I have any of my scout ships left? Yeah, they're all in this fleet. I was just thinking like a probe fired down this way could be useful. Gatria is green now. Yeah, Oslo needs to get its defenses up. We may be at war with the Riftborn sooner rather than later. So how's the Behemoth going? 14 turns of construction with 33k to buy it out. Means every turn we're seeing a little over 2,000 come off of this buyout cost. I am probably not going to be able to accelerate this. Hold on. Do we have... The Zirmisala would prefer to be on fertile worlds, and there aren't any. Okay, we got to make sure that all of our Nakalim population are on the temple colonies, because that way we can get a bunch of bonus approval from them. Hooray. Try to keep the system as happy as possible. Yeah, I guess my goal is to buy out the National Museum. So we're not going to be able to accelerate the Behemoth meaningfully. We should probably keep an eye on this border. Now that we have all these extra sources of influence, I'm curious how much the border is moving by. If it is indeed... Okay, it's moving a visible distance. It's still tiny little chunks, but at least large enough to see with the naked eye. It's nice to not need a microscope for it. Where did those Cravers go? There was a Craver ship in the Star Lane. Oh hey, there's a relic over here. I don't know if I had noticed that before. You know, I've been very busy. There's a lot of stuff going on. Okay. There's a Hisho ship that for some reason thinks it is allowed to be here. Give me all of your science. All of the meager science used to build your scout ship. Right, we could assign some relics to this guy as well to take advantage of the fleet bonuses, but I think we're going to keep the rest of them on science. Let's send a probe down the space lane. I'm curious what exactly is guarding there. Then I guess we can go into guard mode here. It looks like they're sending something along. It's probably a food ship. Yeah. It's a food ship that's aimed at Hidel. Hidel is a colony already, but wherever they're sending the things from must be far enough away that they sent a food ship before it became a proper colony. I wonder how many systems the Hisho have left. It can't be too many. We might even try one more game as the Nakalim where I do my best not to take stuff over militarily, and we really try to work the... I was not the first to get to level 3. Okay. And I really try to work the passing systems over to the academy thing. A listening outpost on the far edge of your territory has picked up a garbled communication and sends an urgent message up the chain of command. Someone is leaking military secrets to a rival empire and could jeopardize upcoming offensive operations. I think our operations are going to be just fine. The message and its origins are unclear, but a digital forensics team is able to pinpoint one clue, that the attached files contain metadata originating from the terminal of an artillery officer of one of your minor civilizations. The soldier's record is exceptional, but there have always been those who complained at allowing an outsider to rise so high in military command. So it could be, a false flag or something. -5 approval on all systems, but +10 influence on all systems is interesting. How many systems do we have that are near the border of approval levels? Ecstatic is 85%, not 90%. I don't know what I was thinking. So +5 approval would push this over into ecstatic. This would stay content, and the Empire as a whole would remain devoted. If we took -5, this system would drop out of being ecstatic. But that's the only change we would see there, I think. And I would expect the Empire as a whole to remain devoted, so maybe that's the right way to go? Yeah, as much as this is like There's a 50% chance of creating a major political crisis. I don't really want to create a major political crisis, and while the amount of influence we'd get here is... like, it's nice to have, we're not exactly doing poorly on influence. The only thing that really is compelling about that is that it would increase the speed that Pisces is pushing out on ESO. It's less than a 10% increase, less than a 5% increase in that total influence output of that system, though. I think I'm gonna refuse the trial. I'm not worried that we're going to run low on militarist political ideology. We are definitely going to keep them in the Senate, just on account of all the war and everything. Okay, yep, the Academy would like more dust from me. Too damn bad. I'm very busy. Okay, how do we only have 25... I guess the population here is not super high, but this building alone is producing 26 influence, which means that this has just not updated yet, I guess. Yeah, the building is not yet included in the output here. Okay. Well, what do we build now? Do we start building ships? We probably start building ships. We know that the Cravers are coming. I would love to convert some of these systems, like, going Temple of the Lost is probably a bad idea right now. I think we need the industry and food that our planets output, but going to a spin project, just getting some additional influence and pressing back on this bubble here is probably a good idea. Yeah, and they are massing up for some stuff. As much as I want to rush things on Pisces, we may not be able to. We may have to use our money to rush stuff on Nakalim instead. So here they just have a bunch of slicers, and not even modernized ones. I wonder if we could just go over there. Like, there's not a ton of actual warships in this fleet, but the commander is powerful enough that I wonder if we could just go over there and shoot him down. I guess I'd have to declare formal war in order to shoot them down in their own territory, though, since we no longer have the religious law. Where am I at on my... yeah, this thing. Give 9 systems to the Academy as a gift. Well, you know, we had such plans. The Roost Guard shield is fine. We could try to do that, but honestly, I don't know that piece of gear is even worth screwing up our laws for, even very temporarily. Alright, so we shot that guy down. Here on Hamal, is it time for ships? Maybe. I suppose if we were going to build ships, you want to get those shipyards out first. Let them come out with some experience. Yeah, we'll do that, and we'll consider next turn. Let's keep an eye on this influence bubble over here. How much is this one moving? Oh, I think we're actually pushing out on them. Is that the case? Am I pushing out in both places? Because if I am, then yeah, +5 from border friction. So the reason the influence wedge there is mostly orange is because they were pushing on us, but we're now making pretty significant headway against them. At some point, we will have enough pressure to start making some diplomatic demands of them. We're probably pretty close with the Hisho. What looked like a huge asteroid approaching one of your system's stars turned out to be a fragment of an ancient planet that burst ages ago. What makes it different are the remains of strange alien structures on it. What will you do before the planetary fragment flames into the sun? Well, I do love give me a free technology. We don't really need +10 approval on our systems, and we don't have enough science output for +10% science to be all that good. But honestly, make them pay. Might be good. Make some tours to visit and learn about the people who live there, and of course, profit from it. The thing is, with one random tech, we would receive one of the techs that we could currently be researching, and that's such a broad variety of technologies. And there are some in here that are just not very good for us, right? Like if they gave us vacuum protection, which just gives us a couple of ship modules that we couldn't even build right now, I'd be pretty bummed out. So I think we're not going to take the free tech just because it's the value of that is too unpredictable. Even more influence output. Sadly, that's an empire level buff rather than a system level buff, which means it won't affect the speed at which the systems are pushing their influence bubble forward. Hold on, we gotta look at Hamal for a second here. So Hamal is pretty far forward, but it's not the forwardest. Pushing hard on its influence bubble might not have a lot of effect. The ideal place to have a really strong influence bubble going would be Asulo, but unfortunately Asulo does not have the room, the population space for that to really work out. So we got our most basic defensive structure up, and now the question is infrastructure. How do we do it? How does one even infrastructure? I mean, Xeno-industrial infrastructure is pretty weak here. Then again, with the system only having 70 industry, it's a fair percentage increase. Yeah, I guess we build that. It doesn't feel great. And then Xenotourism is actually going to be pretty solid. What does it cost to buy out one of these ships? About 11... Well, hold on. A ship that has no production put into it is like 13. Now keep in mind, we have some... We have more money than it looks like because we can, of course, sell stuff off. Luxuries are looking mostly pretty cheap. Decent prices on our strategics, though. We might need to learn to mine antimatter and adamantium. Better ships and better ship modules are going to be reliant on those things, and it's going to be important. Riftborn might be able to defeat us with the navy that we are currently capable of building. Well, let's build a food building here. Yeah, intensive cultivation actually seems pretty alright. 20 food plus 10% food. That beats plus 2 food per citizen, at least for quite a while. I am telling you, we are going to get ESO sold to the Academy. It's gonna happen. Doing everything in our power to juice up the influence output of this planet. Oh, I just let their food ship through. I wasn't even looking at it. Well, it's fine. It does not provide any benefit because, that planet is already a colony, no longer an outpost. But we could have shot it down and stolen all of the valuables. Right, let's go ahead and take this. This should be nice and easy. Yep, just blitz them. Put all of our dudes on the ground. Alright. So our ships need to heal up a little bit. Which means that we need to... Okay, they're repairing 10% per turn. It's not terrible, but it's certainly not good enough. Then again, it actually is probably... It's probably fine for us to keep pushing against the Hisho, because the Hisho seem to have functionally no ability to fight us. This system has no things. It does not have any things on it. And what are we going to do here? I guess sustainable farming and then pick up the other planets. And that system might need a little bit of a resource push. Hamal has been compromised, but sort of who cares? And we're just continuing to build up and expand. So see, we've been working on Aquarius for a long time. Aquarius is still not in a place where its influence bubble would be engulfing Hamal, even if we hadn't taken Hamal. It takes a tremendous amount of influence to grow your bubbles large enough to be a threat to other systems. I wonder how early it actually is feasible to do that. To some degree, it's going to depend on how your constellations are laid out. Okay. Seems like a safe place to bring the siege ships. I really don't care. It's so hard to care about the AI hacking your systems when they never do anything meaningful with it. Of course, we are taking on additional population. Why would we not do that? This has come to an end, which really sucks. We were really enjoying all of that influence. So here on Aquarius, we could go National Museum. The Optics Research Lab is not a tremendous amount of extra science, but at this point, I think we just got to take, like, any extra science anywhere we can get it. And then... do we want to convert these to temples? And we're not making a ton of dust off of the planets. We totally could. Trying to figure out, like, what is the benefit of doing that? How much extra influence do we need at the Empire level, really? Yeah, it's a tough question. I don't know the answer. Because we already have all of our law slots full, but we're going to start to see even better, more expensive laws. The thing is, we really need more influence at the system level in some of our systems, but not all of them. But like Aquarius is no longer one of those systems, and it doesn't help us to produce influence for the Empire pool. So, what do we do here? I guess we just build ships. And maybe titanium mining? Probably just mostly ships. Yeah, let's get a couple more commanders out, because actually we're gonna need those for fighting the Riftborn. When the Riftborn decided it's time to fight us, which I can't imagine is terribly far away. I'm debating how much we even want the science building. Yeah, I think we want it. It's not ideal, but we're trying to transition away from a relic-based knowledge economy. Obviously, fighting is also good. Alright, so we'll burn down the garrison here in 2 turns very easily. Nakalim population boost has come to an end, and we cannot afford to reinstate it. How much damage has that done to our approval levels? Some is the answer to that question. More than a little bit. We really, really need just generally more approval.
Soon we will feast.
Oh, I can tell them to get their fleets out of my influence. Where do they have fleets in my influence? Oh, you know, right here. Right hereabouts. I think I am going to ask them to do that. My guess is they'll say no, but maybe we'll get lucky. And it doesn't really hurt us to make the request.
We don't care what you think.
Okay. Reduced pressure from him on us, and his fleets get teleported out. Okay, lots of threats, lots of him telling me that he doesn't care what I think. He's telling me that enough that he must care what I think, right? We're in a real robot monster doth protest too much kind of situation. Alright, we've almost got this wonder built. Really doesn't feel like there's much to do at the moment. I will say, like, in addition to the population booster wearing off, we're about to hit one system over our population threshold, or our colonization threshold, and that is going to hurt. So plus vision range, or less vision range, but also XP per turn. Honestly, we probably have enough vision already, frankly. I'm not wild about either of those, but we have to take one of them to get up to the next tier. So, could we... Is it possible for us to buy enough Jade Onyx? Oh yeah, it's really cheap actually. We need 41, so we already have 2. Not entirely ideal, but I think we need the approval boost. Yeah, that seems pretty valuable. Sulo is so close to being happy. Yeah, part of the problem is all of this over-colonization. And it's only going to get worse next turn. But also, somebody's going to leave. No, wait, populations from Gatria are immigrating to this system. That's weird. I guess the Hisho are in a tough position. they can't live in a system that is still under Hisho rule, so they just have to pick which of their invaders are the least unpleasant. And I suppose we should be flattered that they picked us. Alright, split second ablatives. Good news. We have even more health on our behemoths and a new ship design that I'm not even 100% sure what we're going to do with. That has come to an end. Great. Even more approval lost. Okay. Appointing a religious senator without popular support has proven to be a troublesome decision. The latest developments involve the controversial choice to ban moxodal, an aquiferous plant harvested across the Empire and often added to drinks for its temporary gravity-altering properties. You would think that would make it hard to drink. The trouble is, moxodal isn't just recreational, it's also used in industry and medical treatments. Oh my god, everybody needs to stop contacting me. Banning it for religious reasons, lobbyists say, is nothing more than a flight of fancy. Ah, I get it. What do you say? I say that I need approval very badly. Vetoing this popular ban will lower the cost of technologies for 10 turns and also make our people happy, while upholding it will make everybody miserable but will cause a burst of food that we don't really need.
The roles have been determined.
Okay.
That is all.
Great. I guess it does matter to us a little bit that Sigma is the Spear of Isiander, because that means that Sigma has control of an Empire fleet, or of an Academy fleet, but I think that fleet is over by the Academy, which we know to be in that area, right? So I don't know how much it matters. They have placed a time-slowing singularity. The red ones are time-slowing, which we care about. I don't care about this hostile trace. Okay. That's the same message. And there's a war declaration. Okay. They had to contact me 3 times to declare war on me. Well, Nolan should probably just produce another Mind Flayer. And then we'll build some smaller ships to support. That'll make it a little bit harder for the Cravers to take over. And then here, we can also go into ship production mode. On Hamal, how much do we want people on the Temple of the Lost World? Probably almost not at all. Oh, I guess we can't inhabit a lava world. Never mind. Well, we are going to need some more defenses. Doesn't make any sense to build interplanetary transport network here. Yeah, I guess let's just get working on ships. You're going to need more navy. I'd really love to conclude this war with Pink. And obviously, if we're thinking about a conquest victory, that has to conclude with us getting as much stuff off of them as possible. But if they want to maybe like work together with me on the murder of all of these robots, that could work for us. Here, we're gonna try to take over some pirate vessels real quick, just to have a little bit of extra cover. So they have medium-ranged weapons. I would like to start in a non-medium range if possible. Alright, let's watch the Mind Flayer do its thing. This is the inaugural test of our boarding pod technology. Now, these pirate ships are not great, but at the moment we just need as many guns on this system as we can get. I'm really surprised that this is taking this long to load. Oh, I did just get an achievement, which has maybe spoiled the result of the battle for me slightly, although it's not like I didn't know. Okay, camera. Let's skip to the action, and I want to get the camera down here and watch from behind our ship, because I want to enjoy the ridiculous designs of our ships. So you can see the little bar underneath their ship is its manpower. The boarding pods our infantry are remarkably effective. Actually, we need to do some infantry upgrades, though. We haven't bothered to purchase any infantry upgrades because we changed our troops into armor so quickly. But if we're going to do this, we should really make sure that our troops are trained for short-range combat. Alright, that's one ship, boarded and claimed. We're taking a lot more damage than I was hoping we would, given the pretty weak opposition we're facing here. But we're going to take these ships over in pretty good shape, which is nice. Once you start getting mixed fleets, like fleets that have normal warships in them, as well as boarding pod stuff, you start to get your ships in more and more damaged states, which obviously makes them less optimally useful. Okay, so we will replenish quickly. The Mind Flayer will be back to full health soon. And they have quite a fleet orbiting with another one incoming. I'm gonna drop us back into the hangars on the planet's surface. I think we're taking our lives into our own hands by being out in space at this moment. Oh, interesting. The ships do still count as destroyed, so we do still get the resources. You've never heard of him, but a mystical figure, Kalant Alcor, has recently passed away and begun his ascent up the divine ladder to another plane of existence. A religious bloc in your Senate demand that Alcor's passing be given a full-state funeral, with 100,000 votive candles lit in every city, special monuments constructed that feature his idiosyncratic writings, and 3 days of empire-wide mourning. I gotta tell you, this doesn't sound like a great idea. It'll be expensive, but Alcor was a popular figure, and the population will be grateful. On the other hand, political models suggest that a rejection of the demand will boost scientific literacy, even if it is unpopular. After all, much of Alcor's writings concern the truth that worlds are flat, not round. We're a spacefaring... We can see them. We can just... Okay. Well... Plus 30 influence on every system in the Empire is probably pretty meaningful, especially in terms of, like, taking ESO. The dust loss is harsh, but we would withstand it. I really don't want to lose 20 influence from our outputs right now. So yeah, I think we'll go ahead and honor the request. Let's have a big 3-day funeral for this guy I've never heard of. And the fact that I've never heard of him doesn't mean he wasn't important. Alright, we're about to finish that, which is going to also push forward the Plague Ship quest, right? We need to get to 48 science, which we are close to. It's actually probably not going to do it by itself. I'm really worried about Nakalim. I mean, we have all the defensive structures. We will be able to hold out against a ground assault for some time. But obviously it's not ideal. Alright. Let's take Tikal by force here, and then maybe go and talk to the Hisho. I know it's a weird idea. But let's just consult them about the possibility of teaming up against our mutual enemy.
I listen, with one hand on my blade.
Okay, they would love a truce. A truce sounds great to them. How great does it sound, I ask you? Does it sound great enough for you to give me some more stuff? Maybe another system? I mean, this is going to blow up our approval, though, right? We could also take some of their resources. They don't really have a lot of stuff that we care about. And that's it, really. So we're going to blow up our overpopulation limit. But we do need to get systems. Part of the problem here is that I don't actually know what we're talking about. We don't have any idea where Chemos and Jane are. It feels like we should get colonies. We should get the colonies and then deal with the approval problem. Actually, the fact that we're at war with another major faction is Well, we're not at war with another major faction, right? Because we're ending a war right now. Maybe we can't afford to take the truce because what I was talking about there is the Jingoist Joy Bill giving us approval for a war with major factions. Like right now, we're getting a ton of approval from that. We're pretty happy, obviously, except for the systems that we just took over, but they'll come around. But losing a war at the same time that we race past our overcolonization threshold is maybe a bad idea. The thing is, I really just can't afford to... I think we have to keep the war going. I think we need the approval. I cannot afford to devote ships to this anymore, though. Well, let's run you guys up this way. Bring our stuff home. The thing is, what do I think they're going to do to us? Is there any real danger from, Is there any real danger from the Hisho? They could potentially take back Tikal, but I don't really care about that because we could take it back again from them, probably. Yeah, I guess we don't have to worry about that. How far are we above 100% on some of these systems? Like, could we afford to take the piece without taking any additional systems from them? That feels like a bad idea, right? We should, if we're thinking about trying a victory that is based on the number of systems we own, we should probably own a lot of systems. We're pretty far north of 100. And with more systems, obviously, we have more population with which to get more value, produce more resources and stuff. All right. We're gonna take their systems. Hold on, I'm just curious. No, hold on. They won't give us everything, obviously. I'm kind of curious where that ends up, though. Oh, they totally would give me all of the things on the list. We have to leave them one system because they have to, still be a part of the game. But I guess I'm going to do this. Alright. Well, we now have constellational controls. So that's cool. Constellational? That's not a word. You know what I mean, though. What did that do to my approval level? Okay, it dropped it to content. That's actually not that bad. We can work with that, at least. Let's see. We'll be in open war with the Cravers pretty soon. Hard to know how soon, but soon. And, of course, we are working on expanding our... Oh, no, we already did expand our limit. We're working on getting to the next tier so that we can expand our limit again. Culture Unshock gives us 2 more points over the limit. Yeah. It's tough, though. And unfortunately, with these 2 political parties, we don't have access to a lot of laws that improve approval. We could cut the ship cost thing to make way for the Empire Entertainment and Education Initiative. A loss of influence during a loss of industry during a time of war hurts, but right now we're suffering a pretty stiff penalty relative to where we could be on every resource except for influence. Influence is the only thing not affected by your approval level. And we do need our science back. And the dust is nice, and the influence output is nice. Yeah, I'm gonna cut lower fleet costs for that. Gets us back to devoted overall. I think that was the right move. It hurts, but we need the influence boost. We need to continue making progress with Pisces, and we need to not lose Nalin. And to some degree, the oh yeah, I should probably have our new planets building, our new systems building stuff. So hold on, okay. So we pick these up here. Can I extract that relic without ships since we own the system? Yes, I can. Okay. How much of a priority do I want that to be? We should figure out what this is. We should also just... Man. They just don't build even the most basic, useful things. We need to get the ability to colonize desert worlds. Yeah, for right now, this is probably... Actually, we should probably prioritize infrastructure. Let's get that built, and then we'll figure stuff out from there. Down on Jane, they don't have anything. I mean, this is probably a very fresh colonize, right? Guess we'll do it like this. And then we don't have the resources to accelerate things on these worlds at all. So, am I remembering correctly that we saw 16 ships here? Does that mean... I wonder if the 16 ships were these 8, and then they added a hero, plus these 8, or I wonder if this is 8 ships right now headed toward us on the star lane, in addition to the 9 that are already present. I think Nolan's going to have a rough go of things for a minute here. I'm not convinced we'll lose it, but it's going to be ugly. We really need this behemoth to get finished. Not a huge amount we could do to accelerate it, aside from selling stuff. I mean, let's sell some stuff. Let's liquidate our supplies of luxuries we don't need. Get a better idea of exactly how much money we do have to play with. Dark glitter is remarkably valuable, which is nice because we are mining it pretty quickly. We could probably afford to sell a pretty significant portion of that. And honestly, most of these as well. We're really not using... Here, we could go like that, and that gives me the money to just rush the behemoths out completely. With 3.3k left over to... I don't know. Yeah, to I don't know what. So if we do the thing with ESO, we pass it off to the Academy, then it's pretty easy for us to... And Wasat is the next big issue. I'm just trying to figure out like how we best get ships from Pisces to Nollan. Because if we could go through Wasat, it's like this is a pretty... 3C to Nollan is a pretty short free space travel. We could do that fairly quickly. Yeah, it's a bad time to be at war with the Riftborn, frankly. Zermisala population boost has ended. Well, we can fix that. We almost have them at 20%. Or we almost have them at 20 pop, which means that soon we will be able to... Soon we will have their dust bonus. We should probably relocate a couple of them to some of our new systems. Alright, we did it. We built the thing. We had a population bonus for the Epistis. And also for the Hisho, because we keep taking over Hisho systems. Pisces has been hacked, but we don't care. Graphius has had a pirate mark placed on it. Graphius is one of our new ones, right? I don't care about that. Right, people are starving all over the place because unhappy planets. And I guess personal militia makes sense on his system. Pisces, the influence bubble is pushing out fast. We are actually going to get ESO. Right, they managed to make it to Asulo. What do they have exactly? Oh, this is this is the Academy fleet. Well, that's pretty bad for us. Multiple carrier-level ships. If we could deal with those carriers, we'd be okay. The rest of that fleet's not that impressive. How many behemoths am I allowed to have right now? Just one. If we get one more behemoth tech, that'll go up. We can make that happen. There are some low-level behemoth techs still available that are pretty cheap, I believe. Yeah, exploitation 1 and analyzers. Analyzers are definitely not very relevant to the way we would use them, the behemoths. What about generators? Plus movement, plus vision, and a movement and vision module that we would never equip. But just like raw movement and vision is pretty good. So yeah, let's maybe even move that to the front of the queue. So in 3 turns, we'll be able to start work on another military behemoth. Does Pisces have defensive structures? It has tractable armaments, but not the other stuff. I'm debating moving this fleet over to Gia, just so that we're in better position to launch a strike on Wasat. I think Pisces would hold out for long enough for us to return if it got attacked. And over here on Altair, we are still not producing enough science. Well, research labs are going to just about get us there. We need to get to 48, right? Yeah, that is okay. And we need to build some, we just need to build some scouts over here. Actually, we'll probably break off some scouts from this fleet and send them across, because we need to get an idea of what the rest of that area looks like. Alright, so we don't have a ton of defenses here, and they're sieging us fairly quickly just because of the amount of guns on their ships, the extremely large numbers. Not a lot we can do about it. We can make Hamal pretty hard to kill. The loss of Usula would actually probably be a good thing for us in the short term, because it would lower our, it would bring us down closer to our overcolonization threshold. Okay, these are actual Academy ships. Yeah, the Academy stuff is not quite as far away as I thought it was. Okay, the Cravers have left the area, which I take as a good sign. Sorry, Kuma is which one? Okay, this one. So not really on the front anywhere, not in grave danger, not great at constructing things, although we can work on that. Both of the planets do have strategic resources. And then I don't know what. Let's let them build that, and we'll figure the rest out later. So yeah, the Riftborn are not going to be they're not going to be completely trivial to drive off. Nor are the Cravers. The Riftborn through having good ships, and the Cravers through having many ships. Which is it is 2 different problems. 10% repairs per turn means we still have to be sitting here for quite some time before we're at full health. We could try to generate some more money and then just buy out the repairs. We went through a lot of our stock of resources, but we could sell more strategics for sure. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's a good idea to do that. How long does he have control of this fleet for? Where is... This is a thing I can see? 17 turns. Well, that seems maybe bad. That's a long time for him to have 2 carriers for free. That said, if we could get a manpower thing going and take them over, that would be pretty cool. Their weapon systems are a little bit hard to read because they have a mix of stuff, but the fact that we're seeing a larger percentage of their weapons effective at short range than long range means that they are definitely on at least some bullet weapons, because their overall weapon balance is pretty projectile heavy. So boarding pods might not be terribly effective. I think a lot of them will get shot down. Yeah. These bastions are a problem. Their medium ship, the Shield, is going to draw off some of our fire. Largely ray-shielded. Okay, we need a big projectile ship. We need a commander... Oh, that's right, the commanders are projectile ships. We're actually fairly well suited to taking out the Shield, at least. I don't love that we want to get up close, which means that we'll be taking the full brunt of their bullet weapons, but I don't know that we really have an option. It's also possible that they just won't make a move. They'll like take a Sulo and then wait. We might not have to be quite as worried. Quite as worried as I am. I guess we'll find out. Down here, the Cravers are going to give me some time. Man, Lakim would be a really useful thing to have. 35 population. Like, I know the planets are all depleted and stuff, but they'll still serve as temples. While I'm thinking about it, I gotta remember to come in here and let's just buy, like, the really basic infantry upgrades. Plus 20% infantry damage. We'll have our boarding parties working a little bit faster. So they have some mediums over here. I can't tell if they're arming up or if it's just like they have stuff floating around Wasat, because why wouldn't you? Hidel is eventually going to get consumed by our influence bubbles, but like really eventually. And I guess for right now we're just passing the turn and seeing what happens. How's this influence bubble going? Okay, we're probably not that many turns off of being able to take ESO, or rather being able to sell ESO to the Academy. Alright, Lakim has successfully been hacked. Do we want to embed sleepers? I think so. I don't know that anything else we can do to the system is going to be terribly helpful right now. We're just going to keep siphoning off little bits of their economy. We're going to try something here. We're going to try running the hack directly with the accelerator in place. I don't know that this is going to work, but it's worth a shot, and it's not like we're going to damage our diplomatic standing with the Cravers. They're already definitely going to come and kill us, so... Alright, so we're ready to respond in either direction pretty quickly here. I think it would still be folly for us to send our fleet over to mess with those guys. Once our ships are all healed up, we have 2 more mediums in this fleet, so it's close to its cap. It might be time to just go over to a solo and try something. We can rebuild the fleet relatively quickly. Like, Aquarius is a pretty good builder, and then we have, of course, Dust. Speaking of Dust, okay, still an awful lot of cost here. Way more than we're going to be able to pay. I would like to say that we're going to make sure we get ESO before the end of the video, but who knows how long that's actually going to take. Reducing the cheat cost during elections doesn't really do anything for us, because we're already not... We don't need to do that, so we may as well take the other option. Alright, now we'll be able to start getting reasonable skills again. Like, this is a pretty good skill. Plus 5% everything per point with 2 points to go. I'm excited about getting that. That's definitely going to be helpful in our task of killing off that fleet up there. And we could build another behemoth. The question is whether we need the behemoth on the Riftborn front, or whether we'd be better off pressing the Cravers from multiple points with them. And I think the answer is we'd rather have it on the Riftborn front. Pretty sure that's right. We're still gaining population pretty quickly here. I don't know that we need a third Mind Flayer. Right now we're ecstatic, but we're holding it pretty narrowly. Then again, like, the Luxuries Lottery isn't going to help very much. Maybe we just, maybe we just build more ships. We could build some support vessels. Why don't we put together a couple of little support ships to draw fire off of the Mind Flayer first? And look at that thing. Look at that 75,000 health behemoth. Yeah, we definitely need our next behemoth to be on this front. Like, Aquarius needs to put me together a great big shooty monster. Really, only a single turn of production. That's weird, because it's definitely, like, 5,500 industry is way more than a single turn. I don't know why that's like that. That industry production of this system is 0, therefore this construction will never complete. Well, that's also not correct. So what the hell is going on here? I think we may have discovered a bug of some kind, although I'm hard-pressed to say exactly what kind. Alright, we are not going to blow up the Academy ship just for the hell of it. I'd like to think that we're better than that. Yeah, it looks to me like sometime in the next 5 turns, probably we'll be in position to deal with ISO. Starting to see some conflict over here. We may have to make a move on Wasat. That has come to an end. Hostile trace detected, what a surprise. So, we have any idea here? It's going to reach Lakim in a single turn? Oh, yeah, that's the Nakalim to Lakim. Okay, that's saying that's the one that it detected. We can't see the progress of the trace just yet, because it just started firing. Well, we have 2 turns on the hack. Maybe we will get that accomplished in time. And Altair is a single point of science short. Well, we could build this thing. But I think what I'm going to do instead is just re-specialize one of these planets really quickly. That's the temporary solution. Alright, Graphius, what on earth do we want to do with you? I guess one of these would be good. You know what? Give me that relic. Let's make that happen. I think despite the fact that we built an industry building, the cost of that relic thing did not change and the amount of turns it was going to take. So it's just like the ship bonus. Why? Hold on a second. You're going to Hamal. Why will this not build? We are allowed to have one more behemoth. We're not already building a second behemoth anywhere, are we? No. So if I put something else in the queue... Okay, no, it really is acting like the system just has 0 production, even though that's definitely not the case. Alright, you are pleased but not entirely surprised to discover that one of your colonies has developed a fringe religion in which the central deity is you. Though small, it has already drawn a following. One of their more charismatic leaders has publicly asked if you would bless them with an appearance at the inauguration of their newest cathedral. Meanwhile, others in that system are watching to see what your response will be. So, Asilo is the system that's under siege, right? Yeah, so this choice doesn't matter at all. It's a massively underdeveloped system, and neither one of these things is going to be meaningful. Yeah, it's... I guess the influence is slightly more meaningful, but they're both pretty bad. System is outputting 5 science, so... And then back home on Altair... Okay, we are over the threshold now. I guess we just have to wait for it to actually trigger. I mean... Miners Union, I guess. We'll get some of this stuff in a little bit faster so we can sell it a little bit faster, and then once we are mining the adamantium, we'll be happy we have that. And I guess this is fine, right? 1 dust per point of population on planets is still 16 dust per turn. Alright, you know what? I think this is where we're going to call it for today. I'm going to do a little bit of investigation and see if I can't figure out what the hell's going on with Aquarius, get that problem resolved so that we can get a behemoth, because I think we're going to need one. So that is going to be it for us for today. Thank you all so much for watching. Come back next time, tomorrow, to see if we can indeed destroy a bunch of free carriers and maybe start to make some headway against the Riftborn. We'll see you then.